Okay, so let's look at number 1. It says square root of 4 times square root of 6. So basically, I'm just going to write that over here. Square root of 4 times square root of 6. So now we know that the square root of 4 is 2 times the square root of 6. I'm just going to write that 2 square root of 6, because this part right here, we can't do really anything with it. So this is your answer. 2 square root of 6. That's as simple as that one gets. So that one's pretty easy. 2 root 6. So that is your answer for number 1. Now number 2 is a little more complicated. It says square root of 9x squared times square root of 9y to the 5th. I'm going to break these down, and it's going to look like square root of that 9 is going to break down to 3 times 3. So I have 3 times 3, and that x squared will break down to an x times an x times x times x. That's the first chunk there of that problem. Now the second chunk of that problem, once again, we've got that 9, so the 9 will break down into break down into 3 times 3. Let's put that in there, 3 times 3. Now here's the thing, we have the x to the 5th. So basically we can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's. So we're looking for pairs. We have these 2 pairs there and these 2 pairs there. So whatever we have a pair in, we're going to write that number or letter, that variable, on the outside. So we have 2 3's. So outside of the house, I can only write 1 3. And inside the house, I have 2 x's. So outside the house, I can only write 1 x. That's where I got those. Now let's bring our multiplication. Next one, we have 2 3's here. Oh, we got a pair of x's there and another pair of x's there. So outside of the house, I can write 3 times, and then I have 1 x there, and then I have another single x there, and I've got this very lonely, all by itself in a circle, x, so I have to do square root x. Now 3x, I can't do anything with that, so I'm going to drop it down. This 3, the second 3 right here, I'm just going to drop it down too. Now x times x, I know, is x squared. And then root of x, well, I'm just going to drop that down because I'm done there. Now, there's an invisible one here with that 3. Now, when you have your big numbers, the 3 times the 3, we're just going to multiply them. So 3 times 3 is 9. Bring the x variable down. These little numbers right here with the little numbers, when you multiply the little numbers, you add them together. So 2 times 1 is 3. And we're going to have square root of x. And that's your answer for number 2. Oof, I know it's a lot of work for number 2. I think that was number 2. Yeah. Okie dokie. Now let me erase this. I'm going to skip 3 for now. And I'm going to go to 4. It's 4 square root 2x times 3 root 8x. Okay, so I'm going to break down everything that's on the inside. Well, there's nothing really to break down here or here. So what I'm going to do then is with the bigs, I'm going to multiply them. So we're going to write 4 times 3. And on the inside the houses, I have 2x times 8x. Now those I could definitely break down. So 4 times 3, I know, is 12. Do our square root. And we have this 2, and we're just going to keep the 2. Now that 8, we're going to do 2 times 4. And then we have an x and then another x. Excuse me. Now we can break this 4 down even more. So let's bring our 12 down. We have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times x times x. Now this 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Now let's look at this original 2 times 8. 2 times 8 is also 16. So basically, same answer. We just kind of broke it down because we're trying to figure out all like the roots of it. Remember, we're looking for pairs. Let me change this color here. Go to the screen. So we're going to put boxed up our pair. So that's one pair of 2's. It's another pair of 2's. Oh, and this is another pair of x's. So on the outside, we could only write one of each. So we can write a 12. So let's write this first 2 there, second 2 there, and our x there. So we're just going to multiply now across. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. Can't do anything with that x, so let's bring it over. So that is, oops, sorry, your answer, 48x. And that was number 4 there. 48x, number 4. Okay, let me erase this. And let's look at number 5. Basically, we're going to take everything that's inside these little houses and write them out. We have square root xy times square root 4xy. Okay? So we're just going to transfer them all into one house. We have 4 times x times x times y times y. Now that 4, we know that the square root of 4 is 2, but I'm going to write it like this. Square root of 2 times 2, because I can break that 4 to 2 times 2, and I got my pair there. Times x times x times y times y. Now I'm going to look for pairs here. This 2 times 2 here. I have this x times x there, and this y times y there. So I get 3 pairs. So everything that's a pair, I'm going to write one of those pairs on the outside of the house. So I have a 2, I have an x, and I have a y. And that is your answer for number, what was that, 5? Okay. Now let's look at number 6. We have 9 square root of 2 times 3 square root of y. What we're going to do is we're going to take these big numbers and multiply them on the outside, 9 times 3, and we're going to take the house numbers and multiply them inside a house. So let's draw a house, our square root, 2 times y. Now 9 times 3 is 27. Let's bring our house down, and 2 times y is 2y. We can't really do anything with that 2y, so that is our answer right there. Okay, so that's number 6. Okay, I'm going to send you this video, and you tell me if you like it or not.